So let's start with Abyss. Abyss is a little bit trickier here. They have a lot of really good basic cards, and then they have, uh, but like most of their faction is not gonna like run off of this core, right? So I'll talk through some of the cards that aren't like necessarily as great as you're gonna move along. Horde of the Forsaken, it's a decent artifact. It'll give you Wraithlings. Overall, though, not super great. They change it so whenever your general deals damage to an enemy, you summon a 1/1 Wraithling nearby, which is actually makes it a little bit more efficient. Makes it a little bit more efficient in some cases. But overall, like it's not gonna wow you, right? It's not a card that's gonna be like, ah, yeah, thank God I had that Horde of the Forsaken. There's a few cases where it has synergy with other stuff, but overall, like not amazing. Soul Shatter Pact. You'll find as you move on in the game that Soul Shatter Pact isn't the best. Now it seems good from an aggro perspective, but for the most part there's other like singular buffs that are more flexible than this, and just giving everything on the board +2 attack, it has to all be in range. Like there's a lot of scenarios where a lot of Abyssians are easy to clear out and they have low health values, so you're not necessarily gonna always have a giant board and swing in with it. So it's better actually to use like the more one-off kind of buffs that you're going to see later on the faction as we get later on the series and talk about the higher rarities of cards. Shadow Watcher, this is a very hit or miss card. It's a card that you know at times can be really great, especially if you already have a board and you play it and you trade in minions again because everything dies pretty easily. It can get big, and then it threatens to get bigger and bigger, and so it'll draw out really good removal. But then sometimes it's just like a 1/1 for 3, and you have to have a board that you're trading in, otherwise it's just not a good card at all. So this is a card just kind of like you can throw it in, but like be careful with it. Abyssal Crawler, this is a great card. Even if you're not running Shadow Nova tech, it's still helpful. It's still a good damage for the body that you can throw in your early basic decks. And usually if you're just starting out with Abyss and you don't have a lot of cards, you're going to run Shadow Nova anyway, so this just ups the damage of Shadow Nova, which we're going to get to in a second. Night's Arrow Assassin, 4/1 rush unit, damage on a stick, can kill stuff, can trade out, as you're going to see later on in this faction. This is actually a really good card because usually it trades and kills something and it dies itself, which works really well with some of the other Death Watch mechanics in the faction. Dark Transformation, super buffed, actually dropped 1 core. Used to be 5 costing, which kind of put it a little bit out of range for it compared to a lot of other removal, but now it's really strong, has synergy with the Wraithling, can hit anywhere for the faction. So unlike Entropic Decay, this thing can hit anything on the board at any time, and you get a 1/1 Wraithling. So for this faction, this is a very good removal card, and you're probably going to run this even as you move on later on in the game. Demonic Lure, great positioning card, going to be able to remove any of those pesky provokes, bring a Heidi unit in the background over to your general, over to something that can eat it and kill it. Very good card. This is another card you can continue to use as you go along. Shadow Nova. Now, what this card really is for a lot of Abyss decks, especially when you start out, is a good win condition. It's a closer. You can put these in your deck, and basically what it does is it throws down 4 Shadow Creep tiles, in a 2x2 square. Now, the way Shadow Nova works is at the end of your turn, anything standing on those tiles takes damage equal to the number of creep tiles that you have on the board. So let's say you have you play an Abyssal Crawler early and it dies, and then later on you get to 7 core and you Shadow Nova. Now anything on that 2x2 square of the battlefield instantly takes 5 damage basically when you end your turn. So you're gonna be like, boom, 5 damage. That'll clear out a lot of dudes in most cases, and it puts heavy damage on the general. So let's say you get to your second one in the game. Let's say you get to the next turn, you have another one, boom, 9 damage. So the damage jumps, and it's very, very scary card and a very good win condition, especially early on in Abyssian when you don't have the other core Death Watch cards in your deck. So overall, Abyssian, they have some cards they're kind of lackluster, but they have a lot of amazing core basic cards that you're going to be able to continue to use if you really want to, and go on and get some wins.